G'day, I'm Kwackajack, and this is a Husqvarna Svartpilen 401. This funky little beginner motorcycle kind of flies under the radar for a lot of people, even though it's got an impressive spec sheet. So today, we're going to take it out into the twisties to see how it performs, and then I'm going to come back and give you my final thoughts. But first, let's have a look around the bike to see some of its key features. This is a 2021 model of the Husky 401, a lightweight, scrambler-inspired machine built for city streets and twisty roads, with some seriously eye-catching style. It runs a 373cc single-cylinder engine, which makes about 44 horsepower and 37 Nm of torque, paired to a 6-speed gearbox and slipper clutch. It's light too, with a dry weight of just 152 kilos and a seat height of 835 mm. The suspension is coming from WP, with fully adjustable 43mm upside-down forks at the front and a preload adjustable monoshock at the back. As for its stoppers, well, they're coming from Bray, with a 320mm front disc and a 230 at the back, both with Bosch ABS. Coming with 17-inch spoked wheels, it normally rolls around on dual sport tyres. However, the previous owner of this one has decided to put on regular road-going ones. Along with full LEDs and a minimal round LCD dash, what it offers is a unique spec sheet and a whole lot of personality for the price. So is this a budget beast or just a cool looking compromise? Let's find out.
Alrighty guys, welcome back. Today we are on a 2021 Husqvarna Svartpilen 401, the Arty, Farty, Svarty. And I'm actually really keen to give this thing a proper and thorough testing because on paper, it's got some pretty decent specs, but as we know, the spec sheet isn't everything. This thing is rocking the same 373cc single-cylinder thumper that you find in the equivalent KTM models, the Duke and RC390, and look, it produces a pretty good amount of power, 43 horsepower and 37 Nm of torque, which for a beginner bike, especially for one as light as this, means that we should have some pretty good performance. It weighs 152 kilograms dry, so in running order like we are now, we're probably at around 170, which means that this thing could be considered a featherweight when it comes to beginner motorcycles. Yeehaw! Not only is it light, but it's also very small and compact. It's the first thing you notice when you hop on, that this thing is pretty minuscule, really. Realistically, this thing is a Duke 390 wearing a Swedish tuxedo, and it's a good looking bike. On the way out here through the city, I got a lot of heads turning my way. You know, I mentioned this thing has got a pretty good spec sheet, right? You've got really good turny bits and really good stoppy bits. You've got Brave stoppers. So, you know, I'm kind of expecting it to perform pretty well out here in the twisties. All right, we got coppers around. Thank you, my friend. So this Husqvarna actually has a twin brother, the Vitpilen, and while their names aren't really the easiest things to say, Svartpilen and Vitpilen, the meanings of them are actually really cool. This one, when translated, actually means black arrow. But to me, it sounds like Fartvillain, and with this fart cannon on here, it's pretty appropriate. One thing I noticed on my ride out here through the city is that while the overall power is actually pretty good, you know, it feels torquey, at lower RPMs, it does seem like it runs a little bit lean. It can sort of shudder around and judder a bit if you have the revs too low, and it will definitely let you know if you're in the wrong gear or if it thinks if it needs some more revs. So for a newer rider that's learning, you may find that you stall a little bit more often on this bike. Obviously, you know, that's pretty easily offset with a few more revs, but let's see how it handles a twisty corner. Not bad. The overall lightness makes it really easy to sort of flick in like that. Another thing I'm noticing though is that it is a vibey little engine, that's for sure. When we get to those higher RPMs, you're really going to feel the buzziness come through, especially through your feet. I do actually quite like the seating position. The seat on here is really high for a beginner bike. It's 835 millimeters, and you know, it's quite an upright seating position as is standard on nakeds, but it's quite comfortable in terms of ergonomic setup. We'll see how this seat holds up after I've been on here for a bit longer, because overall I've probably been on it for about 45 minutes and it's not too bad. It's definitely on the firmer side. Aha, I spotted the copper. He's back up there at the cafe. Man, it is really small and nimble, and it's great for these sort of lower speed, sharper corners. And it was a lot of fun riding it out here through the city, actually. Being so light, I'm not sure how it would go on the highway, you know. Lighter bikes like this, especially naked ones with no fairings, they can be really pushed around by wind. Even on my own Ninja 400, you know, that thing gets blown around all over the place. We pass on the favor. For the price that you'd be paying for this thing, which honestly, this one is about $5 grand, there's features that I wouldn't expect to see, you know, like the LCD dash, adjustable levers, and fully adjustable suspension. So, you know, you could tweak this thing to really perform how you'd like. Alright, that's pinned there, 4th gear. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with the performance out of this motor. And honestly, the suspension too, it's handling it great. Okay, yeah, look, about an hour in now, and this IKEA spec seat is starting to get a lot firmer on my backside. Well, look, I can't complain about the performance coming out of this bike. It is very good. There are some things that I'm not a huge fan of here though. First of all, is something that we haven't spoken about yet, and it is the size of the tank. 9.5 liters. Like, that's not very much at all. I know it's only a single cylinder engine, so hopefully you should get some pretty good mileage out of it. But honestly, I would have preferred this to just be a little bit bigger and give us a few extra liters. I think that would have made a big difference.
Another thing is the gears and transmission. Now, while they are easy to use and go up and down, one thing that I find is that especially with the gear lever, there's not all that much feedback. You can't tell if you're properly in a gear, especially while you're going up. It's kind of just like pushing up and hoping for the best. Another thing is the front brake. Now, while the stopping power is actually pretty good, the ones on here at least, they seem to squeak pretty badly. I'll show you what I mean when we hop back on the road, but again, I have to go back to the price that you'd be paying for it. And if you got this bike for $5 grand with the way that it looks and the way that it performs out there, you know, I'm probably willing to look past those things because you're getting a lot of bang for buck here. And to be real, if you choose this bike, it's going to be because of how it looks. This thing is funky. Even guys with bigger bikes would stop to look at this thing. All right, now before we head back down, I want to show you what I mean about the brakes. See if you can hear this. I'll do that again. Wow, it's very easy to maneuver though, isn't it? See what I mean?
What this thing really feels like for me is a great stepping stone bike, right? If you want to get on the road and you want to have some good performance in a good looking package and you're not really planning to keep it forever, then this would be a great option. I think I actually recommended this as one of my top 5 bikes under $5,000 that you could buy. You know who I sort of see owning and riding a bike like this? It's, in my mind, it's sort of like a mid-20s finance bro, living and working in the city. He wants something that looks cool and different. He can say that he rides a motorbike. He's probably got like a, you know, classic helmet that he puts on for his short commute to work and then rides up into the mountains on the weekend to have a bit of fun. And you know what? You might own it for 2 or 3 years, thrash the hell out of it, and then upgrade to a Ducati Street Fighter or Panigale. That torque is pretty juicy. Those vibrate stoppers, they do their job very well. Have a look at this. Wow. The great thing about a small little bike like this is that you can get every last drop of performance out of it without getting yourself into too much trouble.
So what are my final thoughts on the Husky Svartpilen 401? Well, it's got some flaws, sure, but it is fun. It's got a playful engine, sharp handling, and standout looks that turn heads wherever you go. I think for the price, it's punching well above its weight in terms of performance and character. Yeah, look, the fuel tank is definitely small, the transmission could use a bit more feeling to it, and it does get buzzy and feels a little bit lean at lower RPMs. But if you're after a beginner bike that's light, stylish, and overall fun, I think you can look past those things, and this delivers in those other aspects. Personally, I really enjoy the ergonomics. The seat is very upright, you're in a neutral seating position, and it was a comfortable place to be. Besides the seat, which for a longer journey is going to get uncomfortable. Other than that, it turned and stopped really well. The lightness really helps in these aspects, although it does have slightly squeaky brakes. So no, it is definitely not perfect and it's got its flaws, but I think as a stepping stone to a bigger bike, for the price that you can get these ones for, it offers a lot of value. It turns a lot of heads and gets a lot of attention, and I think for a lot of people, that's gonna be the main selling point. Thankfully, you do have enough performance so when you take it up into the twisties, you're gonna have a lot of fun too. I think for those that are looking to maybe ball out on a budget, you know, they don't wanna spend 10, 15 grand on an R7 or something of the like, but they want the good performance and some good looks to go along with it, this could be a good option. But now I want to hear from you. What do you think of the Arty Svarty? Do you like the looks? Have you ridden one? Let me know down in the comments below. And while you're there, please make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I also want to take a second to thank our friends over at Team Moto, Kawasaki and Bowen Hills. If you're in the market for a new or used motorcycle, something just like this, make sure to go in, check them out, tell them I sent you. But thanks for watching. Until next time, see ya.